Welcome on in. It's another edition of the Clap Your Hands podcast. I'm Jack Fritz, along with Eliot Shorr-Parks, and joining us as always, James Jackson.
Well, let's not overstate the lead here. You're back.
Oh, yeah.
Well, anything happened over the last month?
Well, I'm sure.
Anything happened to prevent you from being here?
How are you?
I'm sure all of our listeners were heartbroken. They're like, hold on.
Yes.
I didn't see any write-ups in the local papers about, hey, where's Fritz on the Clap Your Hands pod?
Yeah.
Is there dissension amongst the ranks?
Your Sixers-Hawks take.
Yeah, dude, yeah. So, no, listen, I was dealing with the end of the freaking baseball season, and it's all right. We're back.
So, all right, let's just, real quick. Are the Phillies the new Sixers? Like
They're trending that way. I actually think the Sixers have been so beaten down for the last couple of years to where they're actually underrated.
Yeah, welcome to the club. I've been saying this on air for the last year.
Like, we'll get into it a little bit later, but you look at the roster top to bottom, and it's just they're in a really good spot. I actually want to start with something not Sixers related that I need to bring up and I need to ask you about.
All right. If I had to guess, go ahead.
Did you really call your mom?
To
talk about Nick Sirianni and people being mean to him?
Yeah. I mean, the phrasing on that is different, but I was calling to talk to her about the Nick Sirianni thing. I did. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. People are being harsh to Nick, and I needed
you
called my mom on the drive home.
And you're like, Mom?
People are being mean to Nick.
People are being mean.
Gotta complain about it.
I don't get it. He's such a nice guy.
Well, look, when everyone's making fun of Nick's valuing family, I decided to call my family. Another good way Nick is bringing everybody together. Unfortunately, she's out on Nick, so it was a surprising blow to that.
She's like, Eliot, toughen up. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah. Eliot, they're not throwing it over the middle. He's too involved in the offense.
Exactly. Once again, meddling Nick.
Yes, exactly.
Meddling Nick. Yeah. I almost brought in Walker to do the podcast with me today to deflect.
So we didn't have to ask you the tough questions.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, where have I been?
Yeah.
That's what people are wondering.
Look, it's just... I can't get back into the kids thing. Yeah, it's like whatever.
Well, don't worry, man. Like it's. I appreciate the kids thing.
Yeah,
they didn't need to be at the press conference, but
it was nice. It was nice they were.
I hope Nick Nurse brings. I hope we don't have to deal out with Nick.
I mean,
Nurse.
the best bit would everybody bringing older kids now.
Dude, I said yesterday on the air, I want Vic Fangio to bring his like 40-year-old kids
and just sit up there,
sit on his lap.
Dude, if he did that, people would be like, he wants Nick fired. If he brought his 40-year-old kid up to the podium,
dude, it would be amazing. Yeah. It would be amazing. Here's what annoys me about local sports teams.
Okay,
just lean in.
I agree.
Like you should be. There's so much.
How would you feel if if all the coaching staff just brought their kids and just?
I would love
it. Would you see it as a sign of solidarity? Or
yes.
Would you see it
I would see it.
If I was running the Eagles this week, I would have a take your kids to work week.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
It would be so
social.
Funny.
Like everyone has their kids there. Yeah, that's a good bit.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
just lean in.
Yeah.
Like Elliot wants me to shave my head.
Yeah. You hear about this?
No, but I'm in.
I heard about 10 minutes ago.
I don't even have to hear the context. I'm in.
Okay, so Nick Sirianni shaved his head, as you know. Right, everybody's being really mean to him about it.
Yeah. He called his mom about it.
I called my mom about it, who was also mean about it. I think people should shave their head for Nick.
Why aren't you shaving your head?
Why did you suggest? I can't. But here's and look, this isn't official yet, but it's just being discussed. And I think this is a safe space.
We're monitoring the situation.
Yeah. Curious how you feel about it. Jack decidedly anti-Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think if the Eagles win their next 2 games, Jack should have to shave his head at the Eagles pregame against Jacksonville.
Oh, this is a live thing. Like people are going to see you shave your head.
Sure. I've never shaved my head. I've had the same haircut since I was in first grade.
Yeah, I think he should shave it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It would grow back fast. I'm not like.
Is this a symbol of you now being in on Nick Sirianni?
No, would never.
If Nick wins the next 2 games, then he has to shave his head in support of Nick because he's a Nick hater.
Right. That's my question. Is you're now in support of Nick?
No, would never. I mean,
so what's the point of shaving his head?
Just to say Jack's an idiot.
Yeah, like for Nick getting Jack, basically.
I think I needed to hear you say that out loud to know that that's actually why you're shaving your head. Not that you're actually in support of Nick.
No, would never.
Either way, I'm in.
I
could do it either way.
Yeah.
We'll find.
And the beginning of Sixers season. That's why we got.
Exactly.
That's why we're gonna shave that.
Get a big.
I will say, being able to. So last year, the bank account went down. with gambling.
As one does.
Because I was at Phillies playoff games.
It
was hard to focus on the Sixers when I was at Phillies playoff games. This year, game 1, it's over.
Well, I would bet the Maxey over in points because it looks like it's
every game.
It could just be him.
So you guys have been obviously locked in on the preseason games.
Yes.
James Jackson there last night. I mean, it's turning into the beat writer we need.
Already a top 5 Sixers beat reporter.
Are you a beat writer? Are you an influencer? Are you
We should
creator?
decide that now.
Yeah, because I don't think you're a beat writer.
Insider. That's a lot.
I think insider. I mean, he's there. He's at practice.
Give me a scoop.
Well, he's got to work on that.
Yeah.
I think at the very least, beat reporter.
But I don't think you want to be a beat reporter.
Am I on the beat?
Kind of. I mean, just as much as any other Six reporter.
I'm not a Phillies beat reporter.
What are you?
I'm a beat
goat.
I'm a beat
Excuse
reporter.
Me for
Yeah. That was set up well.
Yeah.
Set up well.
No, I think you're like a Sixers
content creator.
Yeah. How about this? You're a guy. You're a Sixers guy.
I'm a Sixers guy.
You're a hoop head.
Yeah.
Sixers hoop head.
That's right.
That's all we do is talk.
Exactly.
You guys talking hoop. So you guys have been down there. James first, last night and overall, what's been like your biggest preseason takeaway so far?
My biggest preseason takeaway, to be honest, is the fluctuating kind of role that Maxey's been playing. Like, I know Maxey has been the guy. The offense is going to 100% run through him. But I've kind of talked about how Maxey has to get this team started, whether it's going to be playmaker Maxey, whether it's going to be scoring Maxey, tone setter Maxey, what it is. And now that he doesn't have Paul George in there, it's going to have to be like you said, Maxey is going to have to be the guy from minute 1 to the end of the game if they're going to have to, if they're going to have any chance of staying afloat while Paul George is
playing. What's been the biggest difference with Maxey this year so far? I mean, it looks like at least the shot looks a little bit quicker, and he
stronger.
He looks big.
That is the biggest physical difference is that he is stronger.
Hair.
He can see more. He even says that,
which is wild. If you actually consider him being serious, it's pretty crazy.
He said it multiple times. Which makes me think that he might be serious.
Yeah,
but it's to me like you saw an aggressiveness of Maxey in the beginning of games last year to get himself involved and get his shot going, and I think there is an emphasis, at least in his mind, that to get his other teammates going. Like first, because it's easier to get them going in the beginning of the game and then get himself started. Like I was wondering last night with these possessions without Paul George, like they're important now. Like they're not gonna have Paul George for the start of the season. Like I'm just gonna. I don't know.
I'm a little more 50-50 than you are.
You can be optimistic about it. I'm gonna err on that side.
Right.
So if they don't have Paul George for the start of the season, these last preseason games without him are really important. And I was wondering he was going to come out and be a scorer, and he's kind of not. He's coming out and looking to get his teammates going first and then getting his shot involved. Like he didn't attempt a shot until like midway through the first quarter yesterday.
2 quick questions. One, you seem more concerned about the bone bruise than others.
I'm not optimistic.
I thought it was viewed as good news. No?
I mean, it's good news that nothing tore. Like there's no major injury. But the reason why I'm a little bit pessimistic about it, it's like pulling a hamstring. Like it's one of those injuries that like it's the only way you can rehab it is rest, and when your body is ready to go, it's ready to go. It can be nagging, it can be, and it's in his knee. It's in a place that he's had injury before.
And it's also, I feel like the knee gets hit quite a bit.
I mean,
like once you play,
a little knock knees.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be again. I hope the Sixers take the approach of just rest everyone till May. Like they don't. You don't need Paul George.
I mostly agree with you, but I do think like they have to at least be a top 4 seed. Yeah. You can't just chalk the season away.
Do you want him to play opening night?
Well, emotionally, yes.
But it's smart to play him opening night.
No, I don't think it is.
Just give him.
But there is something to be said about like,
dude, you're not giving me. This is all right. Last year, people forget. You were talking about the 1 seed and conference standings by beating the Celtics. The second
big win.
The second win of the year.
Look, same thing's on the line.
It really is.
Same thing's on the line.
It really is. It's also the reports we're getting.
And they're mattering. Good point, buddy.
If we got a report from Nick Nurse that said, he's gonna, look to be ready to go in a week, then I would be more optimistic. Reevaluate it in a week is like, okay, we'll see where you're at in a week. It's not gonna be doing anything.
If there is one word I could just ban them from ever using, the Sixers ever reevaluated.
Yeah.
Like nothing good ever happened.
I think they should just be like, he'll be evevaluated for the final time, like here.
Thank you. To me,
we'll
reevaluated in a week
we'll
is like is them telling us, then you will get the timetable.
Yes.
Like when we have that reevaluation, we'll know what he's ready to go.
But
so that's not going to be opening night. The opening night is the day after that reevaluation.
I do think there is something to be said for a team that has pretty consistently been viewed as underachieving, that is viewed as one of the best teams in the league, that everyone's excited about. If they go out night one without Joel and Paul George, I mean, get smoked. Like, look, I get it's one game. There's 82.
No,
it would be a vibe kill.
Yeah,
like it just would.
That's not what we're looking to do.
So I might push him, is what I'm saying.
If Paul, no, I'd more push Embiid than I'd more emphasize Embiid to play in the opener if Paul George is going to. He's the one that's been resting. He's the one that's they've been targeting to play.
Would you push both?
No, I wouldn't. I would not push PG.
I think a win opening night matters.
And I think going out there with Maxey and Embiid is enough to contend for a win opening night.
Of course.
Yeah. All right. I just wait till Maxey plays and they lose and everyone's all like, here goes the Sixers again, and that's all ever.
It's a long season.
Who cares? Who cares? It's just online reaction.
That's fair. That's fair.
Don't live in that little bubble.
Yeah, okay? Try not to.
Always, big picture, Elliot. I need big picture, Elliot.
Yeah, definitely.
So the biggest thing that I'm curious about with Maxey this year, because I think the biggest thing that happens in the regular season that for me matters is him turning more into an alpha. Right. Because there's a lot of times last year. There's games, of course, where the Jazz game when Embiid didn't play,
50.
He went on
doing a clap your hands event.
Who could forget?
Nobody.
I mean, there was hundreds of people.
Exactly.
They were like, "Oh my God, Elliot, please,
everyone
Jack,
from the bubble.
Yeah. Tell us more about the Sixers,
about the beautiful game."
Yeah. Jack was talking Olympic.
Oh man, you know the FIBA game. Yeah, the international game is a different game. Yeah. But he showed some signs of it last year, and then the Knicks series was a real big growth from Embiid finally saying to Maxey, take the shot.
Yeah.
Take the shot. And if you go back to the middle to early 2000s, when Shaq had Kobe and Shaq had Dwayne Wade, it was a lot of like, Dwayne Wade, just carry the team in the regular season. I'll be there in the postseason. Yeah. And Kobe, carry the team, and I'll be there. That's the biggest thing I need to see from Maxey is realizing he's a star. Because I think he naturally is. I think he's humble, and I think he is. I don't think he's naturally give me the ball, get out of my way, like I'm going to take over kind of guy. But he has to tap into that to reach his full potential this year.
But I will say, I think I have seen more of that from him in the preseason. So there was a play last night.
It's funny he's kind of old now.
Yeah, I know.
There's a time where he's on the floor where he's like, oh, he's like one of those guys on the floor right now.
Said,
like,
he's 24,
on this Sixers
right?
team, he'll be easily the youngest that plays consistent minutes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, figure like I heard you talking about Ricky Council, which I think is true. Ricky's young, but he's probably not going to play a ton. We'll see about Jared McCain, but like all the other role players they have all the other guys they have are over 30.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Oubre's probably not 30. Well,
29.
Yeah,
he might be close. Yeah.
Dude, all these guys played in college in like 2015. I still feel like they're like 25.
I know, and Oubre feels like he's been in the league for forever. But there was a play last night that I thought was a really good one for Maxey. The alley-oop pass that he had, like. To me, it looked very James Harden-esque. Like walking, people love that. But walking down the court, like just a quick flick up, perfect pass. Like last year when he was the only guy playing, he did not do enough creating for other people. No. And it made him very easy to guard because he's small, and you bring this up a lot. So if he's not going to be a good creator, you can definitely just body him at the perimeter, and he's not as good at getting the basket. Now, he has put on muscle this year, and he looks stronger. But becoming a great passer will also make that easier. And that ESPN article that me and James talked about in the last pod, but like Nick Nurse and the Raptors went 17-5 in the 22 games where Kawhi didn't play. If their plan, and that was obviously they won the title, if their plan is to do that and have Maxey be the guy, they were far under 500 in Maxey games this year. So he has to improve. And I think as a passer, he had 4 assists last night, as James brought up. Like, he has to improve as a passer this year if they're going to run the team through him.
Yeah, I just don't think the rest of the roster is as good as it is this year than last year.
I agree with that. So I think Maxey wasn't great last year. Bits and pieces he was.
When he was the only one out there.
I don't think he was prepared. Like, he didn't go into the season last year thinking I'm going to have to be the guy. Like, it kind of deteriorated around.
And it definitely feels like he gets that vibe now.
Oh yeah,
I feel like everybody talks about him being the guy.
The city gets that vibe now. I don't think even like there were people who were saying like Maxey can be the guy. Let's step up. But I don't think the city went in last year thinking like Maxey's our top guy. Maxey's our alpha going to drive it. And like the crowd pops when Maxey gets announced. He always gets announced last now. Like there's a vibe where it's like he's our guy now. Every time he comes into the game, he gets like a big.
He's probably the most popular athlete in Philly right now.
I said
he probably has the highest Q rating.
Yeah,
I said this. He's the most important player on the Sixers. Is he the most important player in the NBA for any team?
No.
Dude, the most important player of any. I mean,
not okay, but in terms of how much weight he holds going to the beginning of the season, if you say if Maxey doesn't play well in the beginning of the season, where do the Sixers go?
Well, but they still have Joel Embiid and Paul George. If I love the take, but if the Nuggets lose, and I hate Jokic, but I think he's more important. I think Anthony Edwards is more important. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is more important. Giannis. I agree with your point, though.
I don't know about it.
The point that it's even a discussion, I agree. He is critically important. I 100% agree with you on that. Here's a question. What's the line? Let's say they all play in the home opener. Does it go Paul George, Maxey, Embiid? In terms of
introduction?
Who goes last?
I think Embiid always goes last.
Embiid goes last, but who goes first?
Paul George third, Maxey, Embiid.
So Maxey before.
I think it's like a seniority thing.
So you think Maxey's first, Joel's last, and Paul George.
Or if it's first night and they all play, let's say they all play, do they let Paul George have the first extended?
Yeah, maybe he goes first.
Yeah, I think if Paul George plays opening night, which I don't think he does, then I think he goes in the order
all right.
Third. I think if he doesn't and then he waits until they come back after the West Coast, then I think he goes last and he gets the making his Sixers home debut, making his Sixers debut.
Yeah.
8-ball Paul.
A 6'8".
God, it would be such a buzzkill for opening night if Paul George.
It would be 100% buzzkill, but again,
and I know his street clothes on the belly.
Yeah.
We can't go off vibes though.
No, vibes bad. Look at the Phils. That's why Garrett Stubbs got to be out of here.
That's a good point.
No more vibes.
Yeah, but
kill the vibes.
Yeah, we got to play basketball.
It's got to suck for Garrett Stubbs.
Were you crying?
No, it was about.
Did you let out a fist bump when the Phils lost?
No, I was sad.
All right, good.
I was
I just want to double check.
I saw a lot of Phil's tweets from this guy.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
A couple of times you tried to shut it down.
Look, I said I thought it was sad when the Phillies lost. It's an end of an era.
Do you realize that I was right about you tweeting before the series about them going on they're underrated heading into the postseason?
They were. They just choked.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Right. I wanted you to delete that.
I know you did.
Yeah.
You tweeted at.
There's too many people. Too many people were in on the Phils.
It might not be an end of an era. They're bringing everybody back.
How are they supposed to win with everything working against them, everyone believing in them?
Yeah.
It's just
you bet on literally every rival against them. You did your best.
Thank you.
Did the Phillies getting eliminated make you appreciate more what the Sixers have done?
No.
Did it make you more excited for the Sixers?
I strictly only think about the Phillies. I don't think about how it relates to other teams.
It's probably a healthy way to look
at it. Thank you. It's not all, so, and Max is obviously one of the bigger takeaways. I'm curious who else has kind of stuck out. Obviously, because they're only, me, Jackie role players.
Yes.
Yeah.
How are the role players looking? Who are we in on? Who are we soured on? Because obviously not everyone's going to be good.
Right.
Who are we in on? Who are we out on? How are the role players going?
Interested to hear who you.
All right, so for me, I'll be curious to see what you think of Jared McCain. Because on one hand,
he's slow.
He's definitely slow, and he is not a high jumper athletic guy.
But he could be Fred VanVleet.
I think
Fred VanVleet, is a very good comp.
He is sneaky good at driving to the basket. Even the play last night where he hurt himself. I mean, he's been better getting to the basket than I thought.
He's not going to play, though.
He's not.
So it's,
But the issue is pretty much everyone else has been good. Andre Drummond's been awesome, I think. Yabusele, whose name I've learned to pronounce.
Had a guy.
Been really good. I mean, Oubre, you brought it up. I don't want to take all of them. But, I think they should feel good about how everybody's played in the preseason.
Yeah.
I think
Yabusele's been he's been really good on the offensive end. Do
you think he could start?
No. Okay. Because of
2-1-5.
Well, because of his deficiencies on the defensive end. He does get out rebounded a lot. He last night was the best rebounding performance I've seen of him, which was encouraging.
Right.
But there's a lot of times, especially when he goes to the 5, where there's just no rim protection. There's no paint protection when he's in there. There's a reason they went to that 2-3 zone when he was at the 5 is because he couldn't guard his man one-on-one.
But couldn't he start at the 4? I'm saying if they're fully healthy, is he a starter for them? I think no, right?
No, I still think no.
Right.
But I do think off the bench he provides a lot of production. But it's going to be tough because you want to play him, especially off the bench. You want to be able to play him at the 5. And defensively, you just can't do that.
He does have nice touch around the rim. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he feels like a guy when they need an offensive spark, and they have to sit Embiid. That's when they put him in. Now, how's the 3-pointer looking from him? Not great.
Not a little inconsistent.
All right.
That extra 2, he's gonna have to adjust that extra 2 feet like that. You can see that it's a thing. It's a lot. I
tried to tell you guys that when they signed him.
I mean, hey, you were trying to tell us about the international game.
We know the international game. It's 2 feet shorter.
We got a Jared McCain update.
Jared
McCain was discharged from the hospital early this morning and is at home resting. He will be further evaluated later today. Reevaluated.
There you go.
And an appropriate update. An update will be provided as appropriate.
Okay. So I guess that's also another phrase that they're employing a lot. Updates will be provided as appropriate.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Do you think he made a TikTok in the hospital?
I hope. I love the TikTok.
He's a content guy.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah. I do think he made some kind
when you're a content creator, you don't stop.
That's right.
Yeah.
Everything turns into content.
Yes.
At all times.
Like his hair.
Like my hair, possibly. We'll evaluate that. So, listen, I'm very excited for next Wednesday. I'm very excited to move on.
But one last.
I'm not. Yeah, we're not. Yeah, we're good.
I want to have the Kelly Oubre conversation.
Because
I saw your things to watch for the game.
Yes.
And you put in there that you thought Kelly Oubre's starting job could possibly be in jeopardy. Is that like?
I do. Now I do think politics will play a part of this, and I think they'll probably just.
Who they're voting for?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 215. Let's go around the table. But I do think that Oubre doesn't resign here if he's not told he's going to start. So I think he probably will start. But if you look at, like, let's assume everybody's healthy. Obviously Embiid, Paul George, and Maxey are starting. I think Caleb Martin will probably start, although he didn't start last night.
He's been the one that's been in and out of the starting lineup.
I just think Eric Gordon and...
I don't want Eric Gordon.
I thought you said Eric Gordon.
Yeah, Eric Gordon.
He's definitely not.
I just think Eric Gordon...
There's no Eric Gordon.
They're way better shooters. And ultimately...
You don't think Eric Gordon's going to start, do you?
I don't. He's a way better
but he's a better shooter. But
you're gonna want to surround those three with shooters. Now Kelly Oubre brings athleticism.
I know the other parts of the game don't really mean a lot.
No, I don't care.
But the defense, the hustle, the rebounding,
Kelly
Oubre brings
matter.
all. Yeah. Okay, and Kelly Oubre does all of that way better than Eric Gordon. Gordon does catch and shoot the ball better than Kelly Oubre. Yes.
Yeah, I think Oubre off the bench would be nice.
I have almost the exact opposite take for Kelly Oubre, where I think he's got to be like sometimes a top 3 scoring option on this team if
everybody's healthy.
Not if everybody's
okay.
Healthy.
All right.
Everybody's not healthy. Like what?
Yeah, they're right.
You are, and I love the optimism of thinking that we're gonna roll out a full healthy lineup to start. Which we're just not.
How many games this year will all 3 play together?
You hope for 40?
I was gonna say in you hope for 40. I was gonna say in the 30 range.
And the biggest question off that is how much is that going to matter in the postseason?
That's where I was going with it.
Yeah. Because some of those are going to be planned. Some of those are going to be not like they're unhealthy. Some of those are going to be like they're Embiid's sitting this game, Paul George is sitting, and now they might employ the same plan to Paul George that they have for Embiid, and it's on Kyle Lowry too now.
I keep forgetting Lowry.
Yeah, they're employing this plan on a lot of these vets, and so a lot of these vets may play 50 to 60 games.
Dude, Eric Gordon's old. Reggie Jackson's old.
Forever.
Yeah.
So
I can't believe Drummond is 28 or something like that.
Yeah. A lot of NBA mileage.
All these guys.
Yeah, but Kelly Oubre last night led the team in scoring. I think he's going to have to be when everyone's healthy, he can be, the 5th scoring option. But when everyone's not healthy, it's going to be 3rd, 4th scoring option. And it looks like he knows that.
Yeah.
One of Maxey's first assists to Kelly Oubre in transition. And he's going to get a lot of those buckets in transition. I expect him to be the one running the floor, catching these lobs, catching these transition layups. He was 6 for 7 from the foul line. He was cutting.
That's fair, especially too when you have Maxey running the point and he's fast. You do need somebody that can run with him.
Name me the scorer with PG and Embiid out besides Maxey. Name me the next scorer on the team.
Well, look, Eric Gordon and Caleb Martin can shoot, but you're right, they're not creating their own offense. Kelly Oubre at least can get to the basket. So that's a fair point.
Kelly Oubre, a make or break sector. Who would have thought?
$20 million a year. $20 million a year.
Yep.
I hate the nickname the Plumbers. Have you heard this?
No.
Kelly Oubre. It's him, Caleb Martin.
Because they do the dirty work?
Yeah.
I don't like that. I'm mad that I
Kelly Oubre's not a dirty work guy.
Yeah.
Not good, right?
No.
All right, yeah. Good. Glad we're all.
Did you like the Plumbers more or the Feds more?
I hated the Feds. I don't like the Feds.
The Feds is bad.
Yeah, that was not good. Yeah.
So I think the biggest question that I have. I got a lot of questions heading into the season, but one of the biggest ones that I have, and I know they've employed this new Joel Embiid strategy, where it's he's going to sit back-to-backs, and he's going to.
There's no shot he's going to.
He was already sitting back-to-backs.
Right, but they're gonna. He doesn't care about all NBA. He doesn't care about 65 games. Do we trust Joel Embiid to commit to it?
No,
because I don't.
No,
I don't. I think there's a big matchup, and he's like, I got to get out there.
If Paul George stays healthy, and they're a top 3 seed, and he can see that, like, okay, if we're gonna stay afloat
right
while I'm out, but if going into the All-Star break or something like that, if the Sixers hang around the 5th, 6th seed, like, he's gonna want to play to get that home court.
I will say, I think the fact he recruited Andre Drummond so hard does speak to the fact that he maybe is in on this plan.
I think he wants to be in on it, but I think that when the bullets start flying,
too much
I think
of a dog.
What?
Got too much of that
Yeah.
competitive.
Well, he's
fire.
gonna want to get out
the
there.
cage,
If he's playing the beginning of the season, he's scoring 35 a game or whatever again. I just think he's gonna want to be out there.
Yeah.
Would you let him decide about opening night?
Yes.
But he already does. I mean,
But to be honest, I think this plan was taking the decision out of his hands.
But I don't think the decision will be out of his hands. I just think he's more on board with the decision. But I still think there will be games where he decides to play.
I also think this decision was made when the roster is fully healthy. Like, PG goes down, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, like, now I want to play more.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, context and circumstance are going to matter a lot.
Yeah. I do think there is an importance to all of them playing the opening night. But
there's not that. It's not that important.
No. It's not.
Okay.
It's
a bad tone setter for
in March.
It's not a bad tone.
In
It
March,
absolutely is.
put it this way. In March, if everyone's healthy, I'm not going to care if they played all opening night.
I would agree with that. But if this turns into they never play all 3 together, Embiid misses more time than we think, Paul George is, the first game can be a tone setter for what the season is going to be.
Well, is this turning into a finals or bust season?
So I've been thinking about that a lot.
Because there's the one faction or whatever is this is a new team. They're all coming together for the first time.
Yeah.
I know there's the old Sixers stink, but I think that's mostly unfair. I do. I thought that last year.
As I've said.
But
it'd be funny if you became a big defending the Sixers because of the Phillies. Hey,
no.
making the playoffs is hard.
Hey,
I've always said
I've
that.
had a lot of success.
Yeah.
all I do is call it how I see it.
It's a good point. That is all you do.
Traditionally, all I do call it how I see it. So, I don't feel finals or bust right now. But then you look at the roster, it probably should be. It probably should be more finals or bust than it's being talked about.
So,
right now.
Obviously, they have to get out of the second round. Goes without saying.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Goes without
baby steps, baby.
Yes. But, I mean, if they lose to the Celtics in the conference finals in 7,
I don't think that people are mad.
Yeah,
I think they view that as happy.
But I think the more disappointing part of them not winning it this year, going to the finals, is I just don't know how much longer this team has. And we haven't really talked since the Embiid extension, but the fact that their best player that they just gave $180 million to is already talking about not playing half the season. The window for this team is obviously small. It's it's maybe 2 years in my opinion. Obviously they could trade, who knows, but this core I think has at most 2 years, and honestly might only really have 1 year. So while I think emotionally, if they get out of the second round and they have a good conference finals or they lose the NBA finals, that will be considered a success. I do think you kind of have to do it this year.
Yeah. Well, for me, the Celtics have to make it back before I believe that they're going to make it back.
Yeah, it's hard to make it back.
There's something every year we overrate. Well, they won a title, they'll go right back.
Right. And they never do.
And teams.
There was something
rarely
about the road to their title last year that was convenient for them.
Yeah.
They caught injuries, didn't have to play.
It was Mickey.
But
they played the lower seed in every
It was
round.
Mickey Mouse.
Who in the East really scares you?
The Celtics should still scare you.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of the Knicks.
No.
I actually
I have to see it all work to believe.
Dude, Dante DiVincenzo going into the Garden and punking the entire Knicks team
was hilarious.
Is a really bad sign.
They don't have they traded away their 2 tough guys. They traded away DiVincenzo and
Julius Randle.
I mean, dude,
was he a tough guy?
He's more of a tough guy than Cat.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Jalen Brunson.
Better.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson's too quiet.
Right.
That kind of guy. So Josh Hart's there.
The Bucks.
They're gone now.
I don't know. They have 2 great players who but I'm not afraid of them.
It felt like the Bucks was their year. Their window is past.
It feels like their window was last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Sixers should be. barring these guys staying healthy, the second best team in the East. And if the Celtics can make it back, they can make it back.
Yeah.
It should be Sixers Celtics in the Eastern Conference.
It would
Finals.
clearly be a massive disappointment.
I just like the Knicks. I can't do the Knicks.
I agree.
Like Cat's a loser. I know you're a Cat man.
I am a Cat man, to be clear.
Which is shocking.
Yeah. Mikal Bridges changing his shot.
That was ugly.
It was
real ugly.
Yeah, it was not pretty.
And you
didn't know you were a Cat guy.
I know.
He's very talented.
It makes
on
you
the court
question.
and at home too. Like,
no, dog guy.
It does make you. It does make me question your eye test for winners or losers.
Well, to be fair, he did beat your boy Jokic in Game 7 on his court to go to the conference finals this year.
Anthony Edwards did.
Cat was the leading scorer in that game.
Anthony Edwards is the
okay, fair.
Yeah. Then don't you worry.
Anthony Edwards kind of had a bad game.
I know. Don't worry. I don't remember it. So
everyone will say Cat's a loser until he beats the player everybody loves to go to the.
I never said Cat's a loser. Cat's kind of soft sometimes.
It's fine. It's okay to be soft sometimes.
like when you call your mom, talk about
yeah. Sometimes you got to be emotional.
Yes. Hey, listen, emotional intelligence is important.
Yeah.
They call it intelligence for a reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Sixers should be there, and I am curious. I mean, listen, the fan base is the fan base. People are out on them until they're not. And
but I think a good thing for the Sixers this year is first of all, from the general public, they're never going to win anybody over, so it really doesn't
until
matter.
They win.
But I do think this, the people that are going to follow it day after day are ready to give this team a lot of grace until the playoffs. I think. There's no anger with this team right now. Last few years, there's been anger. Last year, James Harden wasn't traded. Then there was the Ben Simmons thing, obviously. Going into this year, I think there's a level of excitement that was not there in past years.
The how far they've come post Harden. And Maury's
Ben, really.
Maury's sticking to his gun, saying we're not giving him we'll take our chances elsewhere, and ruining that relationship. I mean, they feel healthy for the first time in a while, and their ability to get a bunch of guys. If you go through again the role players, they have Eric Gordon now, they have Caleb Martin now, they have Yabusele now, they have Reggie Jackson. Listen, if he's starting for you, you're gonna suck. But
dude, as your third or fourth point guard,
right.
You figure Lowry's
still
ahead
here.
of him, Maxey's ahead of him, obviously, and Eric Gordon, if you want to call him a point guard.
There's just so you look at the roster top to bottom, and you look at who's gonna play or who's not gonna play a ton of minutes, but is still a good NBA player. They have so many guys.
I mean, who on their roster is bad?
No one really.
Ricky Council, probably. I think
Ricky Council is getting to that territory.
I like Ricky Council, but he certainly is not.
No, he's not. He's also insignificant.
No, I agree. But the point I'm making is there's been years where we've talked about them having two guys that off the bench that are good. They have legitimately 5 or 6 guys that I think would feel confident.
I need to see it more to believe with Drummond. I've never been a big.
Really, I'm in on Drummond.
Nah,
he's been awesome.
Nah, I think
for what we need him to do, he's maybe the best in the NBA.
Well, you're talking about rebounding. I'm talking about
especially off the bench, backup rebounding.
Again, you put him in a blender in the pick and roll. That's my biggest issue. But
tough.
He's gonna get
2 X's and O's. He's gonna rebound the ball, which is really.
I mean, the pick and roll is a big part of the game.
Pick and roll is a huge part of the game.
I agree. I'm just saying, I think if he is your backup center, that is a great backup center.
Yes,
and he's played really well.
We'll see.
Okay,
we'll see.
But he's not a bad player. Is the point?
He's not a bad player. I don't know how much of a winning player he is.
Okay.
How's that for a qualification?
Yeah.
A great qualification.
Thank you. All right. Do you have anything? Final thoughts?
Are we going to get to the 10?
Are we going to get to the Jared McCain?
Yeah, and Embiid's number 8.
Oh, and Jared McCain.
Jared McCain.
I mean, what is there to?
We already broke the news.
I guess that's true.
He's going to be reevaluated.
Do you feel better or worse about him? Here's
time.
a question. Do you feel better or worse about him after the preseason, considering he's not going to play again? Well, he's not. There's one more game.
A little bit better.
I think I feel better about him, too.
Yeah. Because I think he showed that he can produce in kind of a variety of ways, which is really good to see for a rookie.
Well, you made this point in the Daily Pod. I thought it was a good one. That in the Celtics game, Ricky Council and Jared McCain were supposed to look like the best players for the Sixers, and only McCain did.
Yeah. Ricky Council, there's been a lot of times where there's been in moments Ricky Council was supposed to look like the best player on the floor.
Which is a shame because in the Summer League he did it. For the first preseason game, I thought he looked really good. But yeah, I think McCain just looks like a better basketball player, in my opinion. I think he can run the point better. I think he's Ricky Council's far more athletic.
One was drafted 15, and one was
obviously
undrafted.
I'm just saying that when you talk about McCain's weakness being Ricky Council's strength, Ricky Council's strength is athleticism.
He still played more minutes than Ricky, even with exiting the game. So it's clear it's purposeful how much he's playing, how much Ricky.
I'll say this, the last thing about McCain. I know everyone's like they're going to trade him, and they probably will. But there really is true value to developing him and keeping him when you have your two biggest players are old and could be cooked in a year and a half.
You got to have something in the pipeline.
Having like players that are worth more than what you're paying them, they don't have almost any of those guys. McCain at least has the ability to develop into that.
I hear you.
I'm glad you're talking about players who aren't going to really play, but
no, I agree. I'm just saying.
You're
it's just like just trade him away. Like
no,
how many years did we say that about Maxey? Like remember the year? I think it was the year they lost to the Raptors.
I mean, dude, when it was the him for Damian Lillard thing, I was.
Well, no, there was him for Kyle Lowry before that.
There was
right. So and like I get that McCain doesn't have the speed and the like raw ability that Maxey has, but I do think if you hold on to McCain for 2 years, he could end up being a really good player for you.
Good basketball players. Jerry McCain's a good basketball player.
That's right. So Embiid was number 8 in the
I think it's fair.
Top 10. So he's ahead of Anthony Edwards and he's ahead of Kevin Durant. I'm sort of surprised Durant's still in there.
I'm a little surprised he's ahead of Ant.
I'm surprised he's ahead of Durant.
Durant feels like a career achievement thing.
Yeah.
No. But go ahead.
Okay. All right. There we go.
He is behind LeBron. He is behind Steph Curry.
I'm fine with both those.
He's behind Jason Tatum somehow.
Well, the dude did lead point rebound assist and win the title.
He's behind SGA, who's at number 4.
It is kind of wild. Tatum is 5 and Brown's not even in the top 10 though.
Well, because he's not a top 10 player.
Well, but I'm saying like Tatum's been the one that's been clowned all offseason. It's just interesting that he's still 5.
Giannis number 3. Big Giannis here.
You think so?
No, I'm just talking about like from the standpoint of he had the one ring and they haven't done squat since.
Well, all right, 2 Giannis things. 1, did you hear that? 2, he said he thinks if they don't win the title this year, the Bucks will trade him.
Yeah, I couldn't tell that was like a sympathy, woe is me thing.
Well, it's definitely what it is. But it's like, I hate to break it to you, bro. You are never getting traded from Milwaukee unless
the only thing that's in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And then also, he was asked what his favorite part of getting married was, and he said the night after or the night of the wedding. It's like, we get it. Bro.
I mean, we get it, bro.
Yeah, like
congratulations.
That's like the least.
Well, I'm just saying,
thing that Giannis has said.
It's like, wow, you're really funny, Giannis.
Yeah.
Think of the children.
Luka, bring him to your press conference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Luka number 2, and
fine with that.
And number 1, Jokic, baby.
Yeah. Jokic is not the best player in the NBA.
Yes, he is.
Luka should be ahead of Jokic currently, but also like Jokic was a disappointment last year. They were the number 1 seed, or they were one of the best teams in the league all year. They got bounced in the second round. Like,
I think they were the 2 seed. I think the Wolves were
right.
the 2 seed, yeah.
I don't think he should be number 1 anymore. But I'm okay with where Embiid is at, because here's the reality. As good as Embiid is, and I think at his best he is the best player in the NBA, he has to get dinged for a lack of playoff success. He just does.
Your best ability is your availability.
Hey, you can't make the club in the tub. That's what I was always thinking.
Has any take aged better than SGA over Embiid, by the way? In terms of trading? I mean, come on. 30 out of 30 teams would take SGA over Embiid right now.
It actually wasn't that long ago.
It was like a year and a half.
Yeah. You were heavily on that team.
18 years ago.
It was not that long ago.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see the MVP odds.
They can replace in a little something.
Well, I'm trying to think of who's the leader for the MVP right now.
So I don't think Maxey will win
Luka.
it, but I would be curious to see what Maxey's odds are. Because if he's going to lead the team, and we think there's a shot they're the 1 seed. No, I think there's no shot he actually wins it. So, but those are my favorite bets.
Value to their team.
So Luka's the favorite, SGA 2, Jokic 3, Giannis 4 plus 800.
I love that.
Anthony Edwards plus 800.
That one I like.
Jalen Brunson,
wow,
plus 1,200. Wow. Tatum plus 1,300 feels
no shot.
If the Knicks are good, Jalen Brunson's going to be in that mix.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Dude, just letting you know, Wemby plus 2,000.
Oh my God, where's Embiid at? Did you say him yet?
Embiid is plus 3,000.
Okay. Plus 3,000?
Yep.
Well, I guess he probably won't qualify.
He's probably not going to play.
Yeah.
He's probably not going to play.
I mean, his goal isn't even to qualify.
Maxey plus 20,000. They put a little sprinkle.
Few shekels.
Yeah.
Halliburton plus 10,000.
There you go.
So I guess, all right, here's a little more on McCain.
Okay.
Philadelphia first-round pick Jared McCain experienced pulmonary contusions from last night's game.
Oof.
I've had those before.
What are those?
It's just like when your brain gets bruised.
Oh, okay.
Like you know what I mean?
So it's like a variation of a concussion.
Yeah, like a little bit more of a severe concussion.
Okay, wow.
Because you get your brain, a concussion is when your brain just hits your skull, it's just when it moves, but
right.
it doesn't necessarily bruise. That's when like your brain got bruised.
Ooh.
So
Hope he feels better.
I mean,
he smoked his head.
Yeah,
yeah,
and he was like crying when he was coming off the court. Like that looked like it hurt, and like he wasn't taking like normal steps when he was walking off. It was the gingerly steps. So yeah, not surprised.
Yeah. All right. Well, Good luck to Jared McCain. Hopefully he can recover.
Good luck.
Well,
thoughts and prayers.
T's and P's.
Yeah.
T's and P's. Either way, good to be back.
Sixers back.
Good to be back. We'll
Sixers
see.
are definitely back.
You excited for Wednesday when no one plays? Besides
Dude,
Maxey?
if they don't play,
Elliot's worried about the 1 seed.
I would push them. I would push them for this. I would.
I'm
just letting you know what I would do.
Up.
I'm sorry.
You're not pushing them.
I would push them. It's the first game. Go beat the Bucks. Get everyone excited. Then you can do the whole resting thing.
What happens if they lose the next 3?
What after he hurts himself more?
I don't think that'll happen.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Eliot Shorr-Parks, everybody. Eliot Shorr-Parks, everybody. All right. For, again, the aforementioned Eliot Shorr-Parks, James Jackson, and Jack Fritz, this has been another edition of Clap Your Hands.